we are going to discuss some of the social issues in the unit, social issues from your English. So when I begin this unit, there is some quoting by Rabindranath Tagore which I want to quote. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Unquote. So these are the wordings of Rabindranath Tagore. So he is talking about a society where there is no discrimination, all are free. We do not want a world of discrimination, discrimination between rich and poor, discrimination between high caste and low caste, discrimination between men and women. So this type of discrimination should not be there, all should be free. That was the thought of Rabindranath Tagore. So we are talking about the different social evils existing in our society. What are the different social evils we can see? Gender inequality. Gender inequality means we are discriminating between men and women. We are talking about illiteracy. It's a social evil. See, because of illiteracy, there is so much of crime being done. Crime, did you follow what is crime? The women, if a woman remains uneducated or she is illiterate, the whole family is illiterate. If a woman is educated, the whole house of the family is educated. Next we have poverty. So see the poverty. There is ups and downs in society, rich class, high class, low class. Then we have caste discrimination, high caste and low caste. So when we talk about this, in the reading we are going to talk about which house? The Storeyed house. Now why we are taking this lesson? In this lesson they are talking about the discrimination being done based on the caste. So there is so much of social inequality. Remember in this lesson, what is our keyword which we are remembering is social injustice. Now injustice, opposite justice. Illiteracy, opposite literacy. Poverty, you can talk about what is poverty. Means where you have less resources, money. All that is related to poverty. So now we are going to talk about social injustice in the lesson, the Storeyed house. Because when a Storeyed house comes, you know Storeyed house, it's just like a status symbol for everyone. Yes or no? When you build a house, you want to build your house in such a way that the neighbor's house will be smaller than yours. That is one thought which comes into your mind. The interior should be very good. There should be a modular kitchen. There should be so many facilities, swimming pool, you will have that, this. This is not for your facility. It is only to make your neighbors or your relatives jealous. Do you agree with this or not? Sneha, do you think yes or no? Yes. Because everyone wants to build a house not for their own use. It is only to show for others. It has become a status symbol. Status means followed. If I have a big house, if I have a big palatial bungalow, everyone will look at my house. See, Mr. X has so beautiful house. Or that Mrs. Y, her house is just like a palace. So we are going to talk that discrimination in the lesson, the Storeyed house. So let's begin with the lesson. There was something really wrong with the state transport bus. So now we are talking, we are in a journey. In which bus? State transport bus. It had come up the winding road in the mountain as if with a lifetime effort. Lifetime effort means that bus was very slow. Because you know, it's not our luxury bus, isn't it? You go and sit in the luxury bus, speed bus, super fast buses because you want to reach very fast. But if you sit in our small buses there, small buses means understood? Passenger buses, it goes very slow because every stop it will wait. The road was now downhill and yet the bus moved as slowly as a sick man. See that bus. Which bus? the state RTC, we say no, RTC buses. So that state transport bus was compared like a sick man. You know sick man, how a sick man will walk very fast, he will walk very slow. So our bus was as the sick man. Walking with the help of another, it reached the plain where the dispensary building was situated and stood still like an obstinate bull. As it was moving very slow, and when it reached to the dispensary, you know dispensary means where they give you some medical facilities, the small, it's not like a hospital, it's just first aid. So they give you in that way, that dispensary, near the dispensary the bus stopped. Again comparison, like which bull? Obstinate bull. In the beginning they compared it to which man? Sick man. Obstinate means stubborn. There are some bulls which get angry, and after the bull is angry, you pull it also, it will not move. That means it becomes very obstinate, stubborn. Now the destination was hardly a mile or two away. Destination means followed. Now you are traveling from Nizamabad to Hyderabad. So which is your destination there? Hyderabad is your destination. In your Google map you type the destination where you want to reach. So in this Google map you type where is your destination. So destination was just a mile or two away. But the driver was sore and the conductor had no option but to be silent. The driver was sore. Sore means he was not able to say anything because the passengers were very angry as the bus was not at all moving. Just imagine you are traveling in a bus and your bus is not in proper condition. So now and then it stops, breakdown. So you get very angry, you lose your patience. When they realized that the bus wouldn't move any faster, a couple of passengers exclaimed. Some passengers said, "God admit for a bloody nuisance." The conductor asked the passengers to get down. Now bus has stopped already. So the conductor told passengers to get down, and they all put their strength together to push the bus. It's natural, isn't it? When there is breakdown of your vehicle, you all come down and start pushing the vehicle so that it will move. Having gained this initial momentum, it got the initial force. The bus started. So little when they pushed, the bus started. Passengers clambered up, jostling one another. Clambered up means they started jumping as the bus started to move. The conductor rang the bell, you know. In a bus there is a bell, isn't it? One bell stop, two bells start. So ring, fastest, rang. So who rang the bell? Conductor rang the bell. And the bus gradually took on speed. It entered the village reluctantly like a truant child being dragged to school. So this bus is our RTC bus, not in a good condition. So as it was moving to the village, just like a truant child. Truant child means when you came to your primary class, your junior class or your LKG, when you came to the school you did not come with a smile, isn't it? You were all crying. You come till gate. Again you pull your father or mother. Come on, we'll go back. I'll come from tomorrow to school. So that was like that. Truant child is understood. The bus is moving but not like in its speed. As it wound its way through the curves on the outskirts, it groaned and croaked like a hen about to lay eggs and stopped with a bang in front of Bujappa Patil's residence. Now they reached the village. Now see, again they are comparing this movement of bus like a hen. Because see, when a hen is about to lay egg, it groans, it makes that sound. So here, who is groaning? Bus. And where did the bus stop? Near Bujappa Patil's residence house. As it halted, coolie put his hand on a huge wooden box and shouted, whose box is this? You know, when a bus stops or when train stops, you get so many people coming there. Who are those coolie, or we call them porters? Bayaji. Now see the second character, the main character of our story, the Storeyed house. Now don't get confused with this story. Our story, S-T-O-R-Y. We are learning the story of Tenali Raman story. It was a 5-storied house. Storeyed, S-T-O-R-E-Y. 4-story. Did you understand? 4-storied building. So Storeyed, R-E-Y. So who is the main person here? Bayaji, who was brushing away the dust from his body, answered, "Oh, it's mine. Please lower it down." So Potter took that wooden box, and who was the owner of that wooden box? Bayaji. The coolie heaved and grunted as he lowered the box, which Bayaji caught with ease. Bayaji had packed his entire household goods in this box. So what was there in that box? There was lot of household things, like what? Pots, frame, gas stove. So Bayaji was with so many things in his bag. Bag or box. And who was holding that box? It was the porter or the coolie. There was no longer any reason to hang around in Bombay. So Bayaji came from which place? From Bombay, present Mumbai. He had worked honestly for the past 35 years in the dockyard and had retired from service 2 months before. So where did he work? In Bombay. In which place? In the dockyard. You know, dockyard is place where ships come and go. So that place, there is loading and unloading of things. That is dockyard. And for how many years he worked? 35 years. Not that he had held an important position, so he was not a big officer in that dockyard. He had merely got an extension for 2 years. During that period, he had become a supervisor. For 2 years, he was a supervisor. Otherwise, his entire life had been spent lifting heavy loads. So he was loading and unloading things. He had worked very hard whenever he could, day and night. So Bayaji was a very hard-working man who worked in Mumbai, making his livelihood, making his earning. So we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.